Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Above the Rim Rundown, where we run down all things NBA. I'm one of your hosts, Memo, and today we've got Hoops in the AD jersey. What's up?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. I'm ecstatic. The Lakers are the first ever IST champions. They won the cup this past weekend, which is what this episode is going to be all about. We're going to cover the entirety of the knockout stages from the IST, the in-season tournament. But yeah, like how you been? It's been a while since we've recorded, so let's catch up a
Yeah,
little.
yeah, I've been doing pretty good as well. Of course, we're all happy right now after the in-season tournament win. Obviously, this is not the real championship,
Yeah,
but still pretty cool though. That we won the first in-season tournament. Um, Obviously the main goal, we already know what that is. But now that we won the in-season tournament, if we're able to also win the championship in the same season, that would be pretty dope.
that'd be sick. Yeah,
Um, yeah. Of course, we still got a long way to go, but it's possible. It could happen.
yeah,
And
it could.
Lakers are Lakers are just now starting to get healthy. Obviously, like previous few weeks, they were pretty short-handed, especially at the wing position. Like Rui, Cam Reddish, Vando, those guys came back. Gabe Vincent's still out, but they say maybe he'll be able to return like late December or early January. Um, I know he didn't really play that good early in the season, but hopefully he does better once he comes back. So I think as the Lakers get healthier, we'll only get better from here.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm so happy, not only because we won it, but as I told you already, I'm going to go to the Lakers game on the 18th. And that is when they're
Oh
going to
yeah,
reveal like the new banner for the IST win,
yeah.
which.
First day. That's gonna be the first home game after
Mhm.
the IST because they're on a road trip, about to go on a road trip.
Right.
Texas, the Spurs and Mavs.
And it's kind of crazy because during our prediction video, like we kind of pulled the homer card hardcore and we said the
Yeah.
Lakers were gonna win it all, and guess what? The Lakers won it all. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, pretty good. Like obviously there were some games we maybe didn't necessarily pick correctly. There were a few
Uh huh.
upsets that happened, but the end result is the one that matters the most.
Yeah.
And it went in our favor. So definitely very happy about that.
And
Um,
but yeah, I think we should cover the games that just all the games from the knockout rounds. Go over what we thought was gonna happen and what actually happened, and we could start with the very first game from the knockout stages, which happened last week. Pacers versus Celtics. We both thought the Celtics were gonna win this, but the Pacers shocked the world, mostly because of Tyrese Halliburton, who was able to basically showcase his skill set in front of the whole world. I believe this was his first ever nationally televised game, if I'm not wrong. Um,
kind of crazy because he's already like year four, if I'm not mistaken.
uh huh.
And it's like he never played national TV.
Yeah, it's crazy, but he did play for the
Yeah.
Kings. The Pacers
The
aren't a big
Kings,
market.
Pacers, small market teams.
Yeah, but in his first game in front of the whole nation, he was able to pull off a triple double with zero turnovers, defeat the Celtics, who are debatably the best team in the league. They caused a lot of turnovers for the Celtics, and everybody knew that the Pacers were going to be amazing offensively. They're a very fast paced team, but it's their defense, especially in the fourth quarter, that really pulled the that came through for the Pacers and got them that win. There was big steals, surprising steals from people like Buddy Hield, who is not known for his defense, but he came through with some timely steals. So that was an incredible game for Halliburton, and it's definitely not the last great game that we're going to talk about from him.
Yeah, I know about that game. Pretty much what happened was Celtics or Pacers lead early, and then Celtics come back, and then they lead for a little bit towards the end of this first half. And in the beginning of second half, Boston was up 2. And then came the Pacers and their lights out shooting, particularly from Tyrese. And then at the very end, Tyrese coming up clutch again with those huge threes. That was definitely really fun to watch. Not gonna lie.
He even had a crazy 4-point play with Jaylen Brown fouling him, right?
Oh yeah, that was probably the highlight of the night for sure. I think that at that particular point in time, it was just about a minute and a half remaining, and the game was still tied.
Yeah.
And then after Tyrese hit that 3 and got fouled, that pretty much opened the door for the Pacers to extend their lead and eventually run away. So it was a cool upset story for sure.
For sure. And especially us Lakers fans, all we want to see is the Celtics downfall. And this definitely brightened my day last week.
Definitely. I was shocked, but I was really happy about the result.
Same. But let's stick with the East and go over the Knicks versus Bucks, which isn't as interesting as the Celtics and the Pacers. I will say Julius Randle had probably his best game in the season. He had a 40-point game with like crazy efficiency, if I do recall. Yeah, 41 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists for Julius Randle. Again, probably his best game of the season, but it didn't matter because the Knicks defense was non-existent for that game, which is kind of what they're known for at the moment, but it wasn't there. Instead, the Bucks were on fire, especially from who exactly? From their big, I guess you could say big three. Not big three. Sorry. Okay, I'm kind of talking out of my ass right now. But Giannis had a great game. 35 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. Damian Lillard had a great game. 28 points, 7 assists. And then Malik Beasley was coming through with those threes. 18 points for him.
Bobby Portis had a pretty good game. Cam Payne had a pretty good game too.
But yeah, again, nothing too interesting. It eventually became a blowout. But we kind of assumed that there would be more of a fight, especially since the Knicks are a pretty good defensive team and the Bucks aren't. So it was actually kind of surprising it was a blowout.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that would be a little bit closer, but I picked the Bucks to win, but I thought it'd be a little bit closer. But turned out that was an easy win for the Bucks.
Yeah, and a good prediction from both of us because we did choose the Bucks to win that one. I almost said Bulls for some reason.
Yeah. So one and one for now.
Yeah, at the moment we were 1-1. But let's go to the West and cover the Kings and Pelicans, which is nothing too interesting. I think like the Kings were hot; they were on fire in like the first 5 minutes of the game. They had a pretty big lead, and then out of nowhere, the Pelicans caught up within the same quarter. So they were neck and neck in the first quarter, and then from there, the Pelicans really took over with great defense. C.J. McCollum had a great game. Brandon Ingram, Valanciunas, Herb Jones, they all had great games. Even the bench was amazing for that team. With Jose Alvarado, Marshall Murphy, they all contributed in different ways off the bench, which was cool to see. The only downside for the Pelicans, not only in this game, but their next game, if you want to talk about it, is Zion Williamson, because he was looking
Yeah.
heavy, like big boy to big boy, like he was looking kind of chunky out there, and he didn't have a great game in either of the uh, IST games. He did have a good game today, as of our recording. He just dropped like 36 points on great efficiency today, but when it mattered the most, he vanished. Right, it was like the rest of the team really carried that game for him, and it kind of
Yeah.
showed how Zion's weight was very was a big issue for him. Like he truly did not look like an athletic beast out there. He barely looked like a basketball player at all. But what are your thoughts on that game or Zion in general?
Yeah, I'll start with Zion. Definitely a disappointing outing during the knockout stages of the IST. From a guy like him, you expect him to do more, but he just didn't really show up like the rest of the guys on the Pelicans did, which is sad. Speaking of which, I did see there was that one clip from the semifinals round when Zion was dribbling the ball down
Yeah,
the
in like
half
slow
court
motion.
really slow. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Um, but going back to that game though, I know that the Kings started out the game hot, and I saw they went up by 15 or like towards the middle of the first quarter, and then eventually the Pelicans they go on fire. They turn the 15-point deficit to a 15-point lead of their own. And then eventually the Kings cut it a little bit closer towards the end of the third quarter and close for a little bit in the beginning of the fourth. Ultimately, Pelicans were able to blow away and advance to pull the impressive upset. And I know that so far this season, the Pelicans have pretty much owned the Kings. I think they're 3-0 against them if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty impressive. Um, but yeah, we'll talk about their next game soon. But this game was a pretty impressive win for the Pelicans.
Oh yeah, like I believe I went for the Kings on this one, if I'm not mistaken. I think I was
I
going
think
for
we
them.
both did. We both did pick the Kings to win this game. Um, I kind of wanted the Pelicans to win, so I was kind of okay that I was wrong with it, but didn't really care too much, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah, but
uh,
I feel like definitely the Lakers match up with Pelicans better because Kings are already 2-0 on the Lakers so far this season. I mean, I still think we could have beaten the Kings, but I think that definitely Pelicans more favorable matchup.
yeah. But shout out to the Kings, especially De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. Like they did come through. Sabonis had a
Oh yeah.
triple double, which I felt like that went that was like a quiet triple double. Didn't even realize he
Oh,
did.
it went under the radar because they lost for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, but
Mhm.
he was someone that I really was talking about. Like they needed him to come through if they were gonna win, which he did come through, but unfortunately they still couldn't get the win. But it is what it
Yeah.
is, I guess. And then let's
Mhm.
talk now about probably the most entertaining yet controversial game in the first round, which is the Lakers versus
Yeah.
Suns. Um,
I would argue that it was also the most entertaining game of all the knockout stages.
yeah, probably.
But
Like,
yeah.
first of all, as I I was in awe with how the Lakers were playing. I was so excited because that's when all of our a lot of the Lakers came back. Rui, Vando, all of them. They came back, and that the depth that the Lakers have right now is insane, especially with the amount of defenders we have as well. Like this is why we hear these trade rumors about like Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan coming to LA, and I genuinely don't want that to happen because I'd rather have this core, this depth in our team. I think they're very important for just competitive basketball. Of course, the two stars, AD and LeBron, had great games during this game. I guess they did very well. Austin Reeves was showing signs of like playoffs. Austin Reeves in that game, and that's not the only time he did that. The defense was crazy. The Suns had crazy turnovers, which like even though they had a lot of turnovers, they still made it a very close game throughout the entirety of the game. Um, but yeah, the Lakers had a lot more offensive rebounds and second chance points, which helped them, uh, you know, keep the lead throughout the game. Um, Kevin Durant, though, he was a monster. Like he truly was insane throughout the game, but that can't be said about Devin Booker, who played like elimination game. Devin Booker, he was trash. Let me pull up his stats really quickly, but I'm telling you right now, it's not pretty. He did score 21 points, but it was like Dookie Brown efficiency. I'm still trying to pull it up. But yeah, 37.5% from the field, 6 of 16. And then I think he had like a several amount of turnovers, which is not what you want from your main ball distributor. Um, let me see. Yeah, God, 7 turnovers. That's nasty. That's not good. Like you don't want that from your quote unquote point guard. But yeah, it's the elimination games. That's what Devin Booker does. He just chokes. That's what he does. He started with Luka, and right now it happened against the Lakers just recently. So, as a Devin Booker hater, I love to see it, especially having the Lakers take him down in an embarrassing fashion.
Oh, for sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
you wanted to say something?
But yeah, this was a very entertaining game. As I mentioned, arguably the most entertaining game of the knockout stages. Um, Lakers led, went out to a really quick start and went up by 15 early in the second quarter, and then the Suns claw back and pull it closer, and then pretty much third and fourth quarter there were a lot of back and forth scores. Um, KD, man, he made some. He really, literally put the Suns on his back, and that's the reason why they were in the game for that long. Um, Grayson Allen also shockingly put up
Oh
21
yeah,
points.
I hate him. I hate him so
Yeah,
much, but he
I
he
I
did have
don't
a
like
good
Grayson
game.
Allen. Dirty player. Yeah,
Bro looks
dating
like
back to
Ted
his days at
Cruz.
Duke. Yeah, yeah, not a Grayson Allen fan one bit. Um, but those guys mostly were the ones that contributed for the Suns. Devin Booker's was a 21 points off of poor efficiency, so yeah. But for the Lakers, mostly the guys you expect, LeBron and AD doing their thing, and then Austin Reeves. The biggest shot was at the very end after, if the Lakers were up one, it was after Book made a three, I believe. No, it wasn't a three. It was a layup. He cut the lead from 3-1, and then with 15 seconds left, the Lakers had the ball, and Austin Reeves shoots a three and he drains it. That was a huge shot. Because if he misses that shot, Suns get the ball back, only down one,
Hmm.
and then Lakers could have entirely lost the lead, and who knows, maybe that team would have won the IST. Thankfully not.
Yeah.
But yeah, That was a huge shot by Austin Reeves. I think, but for sure, saved the Lakers that game. After that, I know KD made a quick two to try to cut the lead to 2 points, and then that's where the Suns had the foul. AD goes to the line, makes the first one, misses the second one, and then that leaves the Suns with the door open. Fortunately, KD's running 3 point shot did not hit anything, and the Lakers were able to secure that win. It was a scary ending for sure,
Hmm.
but a good ending because we came out on top.
But I feel like we can't continue without talking about the controversial moment of the game. At least
Oh
controversial
yeah,
for most, because at the end of the day, it was a good call. And if you don't know what I'm talking
it
about,
was.
basically, the Lakers inbounded the ball. Austin Reeves had it. He was getting doubled. And then what looked like a loose ball was on the floor. During like the chaos, LeBron asked for a timeout, and it looked like he asked for the timeout when the ball was loose. But according to officials, looking back onto that play, LeBron did in fact get the timeout just in time because Austin Reeves barely had possession by having the ball pinned to the floor. And that play got a lot of people upset, especially at the beginning, or like once it actually happened, because it did look like the Lakers got a timeout after a loose ball, but uh, it was indeed the right call. And for those people that are upset, like Devin Booker, like as soon as he like left the game, 10 minutes later he uh, posted up a story on Instagram about it, and then quickly deleted it, not standing on business whatsoever, like a coward that he is. But yeah, like a lot of people were complaining about that game, or I mean about that call, and if which I don't know why. If the Suns wanted to win, they should have played better. If Devin Booker wanted to
Right.
win the game, maybe he shouldn't have had 7 turnovers. Maybe he should have shot the ball a lot better. And instead of complaining, maybe he should hit more shots. Like come on, like
Right.
you're supposed to be the number one guy on the team, and instead of uh, actually coming through when it matters the most, you choke once again, and then you complain about a call that seemed like he also like fouled Austin Reeves on. So he kind of got lucky with the call as well. But I'll leave it there. What were your thoughts on that chaotic ending?
Yeah. I think that during live, like, what should we call it? Live motion
Live play?
or during real time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that live play, it is hard to see like whether or not it looked like it was a loose ball. But
Hmm.
once they were able to pause it and look at the frames in depth, it was clear then that um Austin did indeed have possession of the ball when LeBron called timeout. So ultimately they did make the right call. All the Lakers haters out there will try to deny it because they wanted us to lose badly. Um, Too bad for them. This was the right call, and we won the game.
As we should. And of course, us Lakers fans, we did predict that the Lakers were going to win this one. Just barely, but they did win it. So,
Yeah.
what are we? 2 for 2 or so far?
We are 2 for 2.
2. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
2 for 2.
Okay. So we were 2 for 2 in the first round, which not perfect, but I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Um,
Especially for me, all the teams I wanted to win won that round. So it was a win at the end of the day.
yeah, a win is a win. A win is a win. Okay, let's now go jump into the next round, and we'll go back to the East and talk about Pacers versus Bucks, which was another surprising game, but for very similar reasons to the Pacers versus Celtics, because not only were the Pacers the underdogs and they won, but Tyrese Halliburton had another amazing game. Um, but yeah, let's go over this. So Tyrese Halliburton almost had a triple double again. Um, I think I failed to mention, but the last game when he scored the triple double, or he had a triple double, that was his first triple double in his career. So it's pretty cool how he was able to get his first triple double on a game that really mattered. But yeah, going back to Pacers versus Celtics, Tyrese Halliburton again almost had a triple double, and again had zero turnovers, which is very great, very
Very
impressive
good.
for a point guard. Miles Turner had a monster game as well, a great double double, and the difference maker between the Bucks and the Pacers was truly the bench. The Pacers bench outscored the Bucks bench by a lot. Now the Bucks starting five or like the main four guys did score a lot. I believe four of the players were like close to like 20 points each. Let me see. So
Yeah.
Chris Middleton, uh,
Exactly 20.
you got it?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to say it?
Sure, I
Okay.
just pulled it up.
Um, yeah. So Giannis doing his thing per usual was 37. Dame was 24. Chris Middleton was exactly 20 points, and Brooke Lopez was 18.
Yeah. Uh, so even though
Those guys all did their thing.
yeah, although
But
Damian
the rest of the
Lillard
team,
should have been more efficient, he's
yeah.
35% field goal percentage, 7 for 20 for him. And then Beasley did not come through. He was playing like Lakers Beasley, not really
Yeah.
draining those threes like he should have, which like is very important for the Bucks for him to knock those down. But unfortunately, he couldn't. But yeah, because of how great the bench was for the Pacers, and probably the inefficiency of Damian Lillard scoring and Beasley scoring or lack of scoring. Yeah, the Pacers took this one. Um, Let me ask you: did you see the video of Damian Lillard touching the trophy and the reporter saying it was bad luck?
I did see the image of Dame next to the trophy, but I didn't see that particular clip about the
Oh,
bad luck
really?
one.
That went
Not really.
viral, dude.
Yeah, I know. I probably should have seen it, but
Yeah, the reporter warned
I'm
him.
not surprised
It,
something like that.
it happened right before the Pacers and Bucks game. The
Yeah.
Damian Lillard was going to touch the trophy. The reporter was like, "No, don't touch it. It's bad luck." But he touched it anyways, and he should have listened because he
Uh,
had a pretty inefficient
you
game
should have
and
listened.
ended up losing.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And I will say this, yeah, we definitely both I mean obviously we originally predicted the Bucks and Celtics in this round. Of course that didn't happen,
Yeah,
but I mean we're happy because we're glad Celtics lost. But this game I think for sure we would have predicted Milwaukee to win. Knowing
yeah,
Indiana's yeah, knowing Indiana's Cinderella run, we knew it was possible they were gonna win, but the Bucks just looked like a lot more dominant in the previous round. As granted, they were playing a not as good team. Um, and this game, obviously, both teams had their runs. Like I know that Milwaukee went up big early, and then the Pacers went on the run and they went up 12. And then ultimately, at the end of the third quarter, the Bucks regained the lead. But in the fourth quarter, it was mostly the Pacers. Credit where due. It's pretty cool that they had a pretty cool run for Cinderella story. Um, it's a little bit disappointing that even in like in season tournament, once again we don't get to see the Lakers Bucks championship matchup that we
Yeah.
all wanted to see. Yeah. I think that would have been a very entertaining game.
Hmm.
I mean, like Lakers and Pacers was pretty entertaining, and we'll go over that later. But like obviously Lakers Bucks would have been more star power.
Right.
But staying on topic of this game though, a little bit shocking, but definitely Pacers in season tournament, a whole different monster than the regular
Oh
games,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
as you said, we probably would have predicted the Bucks to win this one. Like it's hard to root against Giannis, right? And he did come through with an amazing game. But Tyrese Halliburton is that guy. He's one of the best point guards in the league. He's a phenomenal scorer. He's very efficient. He's a phenomenal passer, playmaker. Uh, Little to no turnovers throughout the knockout stages. He's proving like in real time that he is that guy. He even did the Dame time celebration in front of Damian Lillard after a big three in the fourth quarter. I believe over Brooke Lopez, if I'm not mistaken. Like he's proving right now that he is one of the best players in the league.
Definitely. Um, a fun player to watch.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
And with that weird
yeah,
shot too, like it's fun watching him play.
yeah. He has a very unique shooting form.
Uh huh.
But he's so good at shooting, like it makes it like even cooler to see. Like he has a interesting shooting form, and he can make them.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Lakers versus Pelicans. Even though we really don't need to talk a lot about them, it was essentially a blowout.
Yeah,
But there were cool moments. Like LeBron had three charges in the first half. Like even though he's like 40 years old, he's still sacrificing his body out there. He really clamped up Zion in this game. So did AD. Like they both did very well, preventing him from being a any like a factor in this game. The Lakers' depth again looked amazing, but probably the coolest moment of the night was in the second quarter when LeBron hit three threes in a row, which is not really his game, but he was
yeah,
on fire. He just went for it, and yeah, he had a phenomenal game in this one. Like he really did, and that was uh just a cool moment to see, especially that like logo three at like his
logo three.
third
Yeah,
three. Like it was sick, dude. It really was.
yeah.
Um,
It was really cool moment for sure.
uh-huh.
So yeah, the trend of this game was Lakers go up big early. I think they went up like seven early in the game, and then the Pelicans went on a little bit of a run, and they went up by five towards the end of the first quarter, and then from there, that was pretty much the peak for the Pelicans because there on out it was all Lakers pretty much. They they go on a run. I think the Pelicans had like a brief 1 or 2 point lead in the beginning of the second quarter, and then that's where the Lakers just started hitting shots like crazy, playing really great on defense. And one thing about this game is, from what I recall, the Lakers were pretty efficient from three this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like all season, Lakers 3 point shooting, not very good. But this game, when it really mattered, their 3 point shooting was like phenomenal. Looking at the box score, they were 17 for 35 from three, which is almost 50%. That's pretty good.
That's amazing.
And that, yeah, amazing. And that explains why they put up 133 points. And on top of that, defense only allowed Pelicans to score 89 points. That was like peak Lakers basketball, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It it definitely reminded me a lot of the Lakers in the bubble. like pretty much whenever the Lakers are healthy and they're going all out and they know what the stakes are, that's when they're at their best. And sure, you can bring up like the disappointing playoffs in like last year finish and like the years before that, but not really. Obviously, we know like last year LeBron wasn't entirely healthy during the playoffs, and in 2021 against the Suns, AD got hurt, so Lakers weren't really at full strength. But when they were at full strength, like in the bubble and in the IST here, they prove how good they could be. So that was definitely really cool to watch.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about Lakers versus Pacers. I don't know what you were doing, but I was out with my family during the game, but I knew I couldn't miss it. So during like the entire time I was out, I had my phone on me, just watching the game on like my tiny little screen. But yeah, it was worth it because we got to see a phenomenal game from the Lakers, especially from Anthony Davis. He really came through for this one. Um, he scored what was it, 41 points. Um, how many blocks did he have? 4 blocks, 5 assists, 20 rebounds, bro. Like that's insane. He's not the only one with a great game though. Austin Reeves really came through. He scored like over 20 points in the first half, ended with 28 points in total. And it's crazy how like LeBron doesn't even need to be the best player on the floor for the Lakers to win. He had a good game, but obviously not as great as Anthony Davis. Probably not even as good as Austin Reeves. He did have 24 points, 6 turnovers, which is kind of crazy, but he came through with 2 steals, 4 assists, 11 rebounds. He did his thing. Um,
Yeah.
Shout out to Turner. He tried his best defending AD. He was like the only good defender on the Pacers, which is unfortunate for him. But yeah, he ended up having foul trouble. It's kind of just felt bad for him. Like he tried, but there's nothing he could do, especially with AD being so aggressive from the beginning. And it's crazy that the Lakers won this with scoring only 2 3-pointers. We just talked about how the last game they were crazy efficient from three, scoring in bunches.
Yeah.
This game, they only scored two
Not at
threes.
all.
Most of their points came from the paint. They scored like 86-ish points, 80 something points in the paint. They out rebounded the Pacers. They're just much bigger than the Pacers in general. And yeah, Tyrese Halliburton kind of cooled off. He had 20 points, 3 turnovers in this game. So, I guess a decent game from him, but it wasn't as good as the first 2 knockout games. But yeah, it ended up being, I want to say a blowout because the Pacers did have their runs to try to make it close and competitive. But we kind of all knew in the fourth that it was the Lakers were going to win this one. But yeah, how were you feeling throughout this game, watching it?
Yeah. I will say it wasn't really anything different than what I expected. I knew that the Pacers were gonna make it close, interesting fight because they've showed how relentless they've been during the run. Um, they pretty much beat all of the like some of the top teams in the Eastern Conference during the in-season
Yeah,
tournament. Like in the early stages, they beat the Sixers, they beat the Heat, um, and then maybe they beat a few like other more okay teams, and then after that, oh no, so actually no, Sixers, Heat, Cavs, and then they beat the Celtics and the Bucks. That's pretty impressive.
yeah,
So like I don't know if the Pacers are really a championship contender, but if anything, they've proven that they could beat those teams at least in like a few games,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's not like a best of seven series. But we'll see there. But this game was definitely um, obviously both teams didn't really do good from three. Lakers only made 2 out of 13, but two huge threes late in the fourth quarter by Cam Reddish and Torian Prince definitely helped because that was when the Pacers were cutting into the Lakers' lead. And I think at one point the Lakers were only up one or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cam Reddish makes a huge three to re-extend the lead to four. And then they continued trading baskets until ultimately the Lakers pulled away late. Um, I think that the one thing that definitely came to haunt the Pacers this game was definitely them also struggling from three, because usually
Oh
the
yeah.
Pacers are a really efficient 3-point shooting team, but they only went 10 for 41, which is 24%. Also not very good. Um, but the Lakers, they really relied on their defense to come around that poor 3-point shooting. And also the 86 paint points was very key. And then, of course, AD being the MVP of the game with his 41 points, definitely very big. That's straight up flashbacks to the bubble AD and
Yeah.
the AD that the Lakers need when, like, we need this version of AD when it matters most, come whether it's IST or playoffs. Um, like that's pretty much AD proving that when he stays healthy, he's debatably a top five player in the league, for sure a top 10 player of the league, I'd say. Um, and then of course LeBron didn't really have to do too much, which is really good
Yeah.
because he's aging, so needs to save some of his legs. Um, Austin Reeves, man, he hit some really clutch shots too, made some really important plays. One thing about it, I think that we gotta know is Austin Reeves. I think he was battling the flu. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
He had a flu game
so
better
it's
than MJ according to LeBron.
yeah, his version of the flu game, pretty cool. You could not tell by the way he
Oh
played.
yeah, yeah.
He looks pretty normal. Yeah. um, Efficient shooting too, 60%, 9 of 15 from the field. Um, 10 out of 12 from the free throw line, which is also pretty good. And then, of course, he does a lot on defense also.
Oh yeah.
Plus 10 point differential. Shout out to Austin Reeves. This game was definitely a fun game from start to finish. Pacers tried their best to come close several times. Ultimately, the Lakers were able to pull away. Um, and it was exciting to see the Lakers win the first ever in-season tournament.
Like this is
Um,
history, dude. This is history in the making.
yeah, definitely. Um, it will if we win, as mentioned earlier, if we can also win the championship later, looking back at this season, it would be historical
Oh
to
yeah.
win both the first in-season tournament and the NBA championship. That would be cool. Um, at this very moment, haters out there can make all the memes they want. But let's be real. If the Clippers won the in-season tournament, they'd probably be having a parade right now
Yeah.
because that's the most they'll ever do if they even win an in-season tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're definitely not going to win the real championship. Yeah. Um. So now transitioning back to the regular NBA games. And then of course we heard earlier about the Lakers. They're gonna reveal the in-season tournament banner.
I'll be there.
What do you think about? Yes, sir. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what do you think about that? You think it's cool that they're doing a banner, or do you think maybe they shouldn't have done it because it's not the real championship? Because I've heard both, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of conflicted, not gonna lie.
I'm fine with a banner as long as it's different from the NBA championship banners. Like it's got to be its own
Yeah,
thing, I think. We got to
yeah,
differentiate
definitely.
it from the 17 championships and say, "Hey, uh we won this other thing as well. We won 17 championships in the very first ISC Cup." Uh, so I think they might. I guess I'll let you know when I'm there.
Yeah,
But I think they might have it together with the 17 championships. I kind of hope they separate it. Like I want it to be
yeah,
differentiated as much as possible, because
definitely.
it is not an NBA championship. It's not the same thing. It is a cool
Yeah.
thing to win. I think it is
Mhm.
a great thing to add to a resume, but it's again not an NBA championship. It's not on the same level.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think from what I heard, it's definitely going to be something
Oh
different
yeah.
than the regular championship banners. I think another thing I heard is that the Lakers said if they win another in IST later down the road, they're not gonna bring a new banner. They're just gonna add a year to the banner that they're gonna add this time. I think
Interesting.
that's what I heard. Honestly, I think that's good because yeah, obviously like this is a cool thing to have, but it's not the real championship. So we don't want to make a too big of a deal out of it. Um, I think that if it's like some of the more sorry franchises, like the Clippers, for example, they would probably make a new banner if they were to win
I kind
multiple.
of like the idea of
So
adding another banner though. It's just a good visualizer of how many times we've won. I think, but
yeah, I
uh,
think that I think that I look at it both ways. Like it is cool to show like how many times they won it. At the same time, it's like because the Lakers are such a storied franchise of winning the actual championship, they don't hang division banners, they don't celebrate Western Conference
yeah, that's
championships.
a Kobe
I
quote,
just
I
feel like
believe.
yeah, I just feel like this is the same thing, honestly. It is very cool that they win it, though, for sure. And you know, like, there were like some people joking around saying you saw that every player got like the medals
Yeah,
for like the in-season tournament. Yeah. Yeah, so I saw like jokes about like it's like the NBA players got AAU medals. It's like I think for AAU basketball they give the players medals
yeah.
instead of like rings.
Well, they wanted to
Yeah.
copy like a soccer cup. Like once a soccer team wins a cup, they
Yeah.
get
It
medals.
it reminded me of the Olympics a little bit. Like
Yeah,
they
that.
have the kids hand the medals
Uh
over
huh.
the players' necks. That was cool. I will say this though. I am glad that they gave them medals instead of like a ring, for
Oh
example.
yeah, it has
Because
to be
then if
something
it was
different.
yeah. Imagine if they gave out rings for in-season tournament. I feel like that would make a lot of like players settle for in-season tournament instead of going all out for the real ring.
Yeah,
So definitely good that it was a medal instead of like an actual ring there. Um but overall it was cool,
yeah.
I will say.
They did give
But
out
now
a MVP trophy to LeBron.
oh yeah,
I feel like we needed to bring that up, but yeah, LeBron won the first ever IST MVP, which is well deserved, I think.
definitely. That
Um,
was pretty cool also. Um I feel like when I was watching the like as- the trophy ceremony, shall I say,
mhm.
it felt like I guess in a way like it felt a little bit interesting, shall we say, because it's like we won something cool, but it wasn't the actual championship. So it's like I was happy, but at the same time, it's like um we still have something else that we're trying to achieve later in
Yeah,
the season.
yeah,
But how happy should I really be? Um, I guess happy but not satisfied,
I feel like
like Kobe would say.
it
Job's not
feels weird
finished.
at the moment because it's so brand new, but probably
Yeah,
later on it's gonna feel like the same feeling as like winning a FIBA gold medal. Like it's not anything to move the needle per se, like career. Like if you won a FIBA gold medal, you're not gonna be you're. It's not gonna add something to push you ahead of other superstars when we're talking about ranks. But it's
yeah,
a good thing to have on the resume. But I feel like after a few years of the this like tournament and the awards from this tournament is gonna be more legitimate. Um, and it's just
definitely.
gonna need more time. Like this tournament in general, like when it was first announced, people thought Adam Silver was like high or something. Like they thought this was crazy, but it ended up being a huge success. A lot of people were very into
Definitely.
November basketball, which is not usually a thing. Like Adam Silver
Right.
truly cooked. Like he cooked, man. Like he is an
Yeah.
incredible commissioner. He's willing to take risks, and I appreciate him for willing to do something as bold as this and having it pull off this successfully. So hopefully this thing
Definitely.
continues for a lot longer to make it more legitimate. And I can't wait for the next
For
one.
sure. Definitely. This was proven to be a very successful experiment for first time go. Um, in a way, it's like now the NBA has not only do we have the regular playoffs, that's the best of seven, but then the in-season tournament adds a little bit of like a March Madness feel,
Yeah.
but for NBA, and instead of in March, in November,
And with
which is
actually
definitely pretty
great
cool.
players instead of like some college bums.
Yeah, that is true also. Yeah. And then the cash prize, five hundred
Oh yeah.
thousand dollars per player.
Definitely helps out the young
That's
guys.
definitely the young guys do not earn a lot of money. Like I think that I'm not sure about the exact contract details, but I think from what I heard that $500,000 like may be like more than double than some of that the rookies like year one contracts.
Hmm.
Maybe.
I think
Because
it
I think they
doubled
say
it.
something
Yeah.
about like yeah, because I think like a lot of the rookies, especially like the second round pick, for example, would be like 200K per year maybe. So then if this is a 500K prize, then it's more than double. So definitely very helpful for the rookies' pockets, especially because they don't have a lot of money yet.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was fun to watch. And of course, Cinderella stories like the Pacers. Not the greatest team in regular play, but went all out in the in-season tournament when it mattered most. And they were all so close to winning it all.
Yeah, shout out to
But
the
of course, we knew
Pacers.
the best
As
team won.
as you said, they had a tough road to get to this point. So it was very
Yeah,
impressive that they were able to make it all the way to the finals. So shout out to them, except for Bruce Brown. Fuck that guy.
yeah.
Like,
Bruce Brown.
he was,
Yeah, Bruce Brown. Too much talking. Did
yeah.
you see the clip? D'Lo and Bruce Brown. Yeah,
They beefing, yeah. Uh, yeah, D'Lo got him. Even though D'Lo didn't have a crazy game, at least he didn't
yeah,
score only 4 points on 22% field goal percentage, like Bruce Brown
yeah,
did. Um,
yeah. And it's like he brings up how he swept the Lakers last year,
he
but
swept them though.
because
Nah.
his team, yeah. First off, it was his team that
Yup.
was a lot better. He had Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, all those guys to help him. He wasn't the one that did all that. Like, sure, he contributed,
But
but
not as much as
he wasn't
Jokic.
responsible. Exactly. And then look at him now. Pretty much just a random role player that you hardly even hear about, except for headlines like that,
Yeah,
a trash talk moment. And it's not even in a good way because he didn't have a good game.
right.
It's in a way that he didn't contribute to his team that played factor in his team's loss. Yeah. But aside from him, though, much respect to the
Yeah,
Pacers.
shout
They
out
had a
to the
nice run.
Pacers.
Yeah. I hope that they finish with a decent seed in the East.
Mm-hmm.
If they could find a way to also beat the Celtics in the playoffs, that would also be great.
I would love
It'll be tough in a
that.
7 game series, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Um, I guess before we go, let's just mention the in-season tournament teams. Have you seen the in-season tournament team?
I haven't yet actually.
Okay,
Actually, I did see the first team though. The first
it's
team
just the
was
first team.
the
I think it's just the first team.
Oh, okay, just first team, not
Yeah,
like three or anything,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, actually I did see it. Yeah, wasn't it the Tyrese Halliburton, Kevin Durant, LeBron, Giannis, and AD?
yeah, yeah. Pretty well deserved. This was a good bunch of
Yeah,
players.
a
Um,
good bunch of players.
any
Honestly, I
snubs in
like
your
all of
opinion?
them. Snubs. I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm forgetting certain guys because maybe they weren't as fresh. Most of these guys were either like in the conference finals stages, shall we say, or actually all of them were in the knockout stages.
Mm-hmm.
And then aside from KD, they were all in the conference final stages, shall we, if we call it that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then of course LeBron and AD, also well deserved. Tyrese, Giannis always doing his thing, and KD doing his thing. As far as snubs go, I'm I'm literally blanking out at the moment, so
yeah.
I can't think of anything.
I was gonna say Brandon
But
Ingram
overall,
after the first game, but the second game he didn't do that good. So I think overall they
yeah,
did a good job choosing the five players on the in-season tournament team.
I agree. Yeah, these players all balled out, and for a reason, I think they were all in the knockout stages.
Hmm.
So a good pick. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there could be a similar All NBA first team for the actual season later on. We'll see. But a nice lineup of players for
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah. Well deserved. Well deserved. But I think
Definitely.
that was everything I wanted to cover. Do you think we missed anything, or are we good?
I don't I think we pretty much mentioned everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. Yeah. But yeah, this was a fun conversation. We wanted to keep this one on the shortest side. Um, we obviously we didn't do a typical NBA rundown type episode, and the following few episodes are not gonna be like that either. We're switching things up for this month and probably the beginning of next month, due to holidays and stuff. Like the reason why we haven't been uploading was entirely my fault, because I have a lot of family over, so it was hard to.
Life happens.
Yeah, life happens.
So it's a
So it was hard to be able to make time to record, um, due to having family over. But yeah, we're basically gonna mass produce some episodes and just sprinkle them out throughout the month, and they're gonna be fun episodes. I'll tell you that. I won't spoil anything. They're just gonna be really fun. So I hope you guys
yes. Stay
subscribe,
tuned.
stay tuned, follow on uh, podcast platforms, follow our socials, all that. That would be lovely. Um, but yeah, that's all I got to say. Anything you want to say before we head out?
Um I just wanna finish off by saying this was a really fun
It
episode,
was.
especially going all those great games that happened in the first ever IST, which was a success as mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course the cherry on top was our Lakers winning the first in-season tournament.
Call
Pretty
us homers,
cool.
but we predicted it.
Um,
We truly did.
yes, sir. Now transitioning back to the normal games. things should be good, I think. Trying to see, like, for example, how the Lakers build off their momentum
Uh huh.
from this IST run, how the Pacers could build up their momentum, for example, and then how some of the other teams that are predicted to be contenders or maybe not so good, and see if those not so good teams could surprise some people. So yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, should be interesting. And there's still stuff to look forward to in the NBA. We got the Christmas games coming up.
Christmas
After
game.
that, the All
Yeah,
Star games. Things are still gonna be exciting, so don't you worry.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. This is pretty much right when things are getting good. Um, I think that it's a long time in a while that like the NBA season is pretty much interesting the entire year
yeah.
because as like for example, like LeBron was saying in his post game interview, if you saw, he was saying how like in November, December, January, a lot of time that's where the fans like snooze off a little bit because of all the 82 game season. This definitely helped to
Mm-hmm.
keep the fans more engaged. So definitely cool.
But yeah, with the season continuing and being more fun, we're also gonna have a lot of fun content for you guys. So please stay tuned. But yeah, I think that's it. So take care, everybody. See you on the next episode. Later. Bye bye.
Deuces.